Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're tackling a really universal human challenge. How do you get what you want when it feels like the entire world wants the exact same thing? We are plunging into some of the most competitive markets that exist. And I don't just mean business or tech. We're talking about power, desire, and, well, even survival. We've pulled together a really fascinating stack of sources for this one. It spans everything from Peter Thiel's contrarian business philosophy to, ancient history and modern psychology.
That's right. And what's so striking when you look at them together is that the blueprint for creating high leverage, the ability to actually influence outcomes, it seems to follow these similar strategic principles across all of these different domains. So whether you're trying to build $1 billion monopoly or just navigating a high-stakes personal negotiation, the goal is often the same.
To escape that red ocean of competition.
Exactly.
So our mission today is to extract the actionable, tactical steps that people use to define a non-competitive position. To create what we're calling a monopoly of desire. We're really looking for the blueprints of high leverage, from the boardroom all the way to the bedroom. And I think this is important. We have to look at where these strategies give you an incredible advantage, but also where they just completely fall apart.
It's really about finding that 0 to 1 shift, but in your own life.
Okay, so let's unpack this. I think we should start with Peter Thiel, the co-founder of PayPal, one of the most famously contrarian thinkers in Silicon Valley. And his central philosophy, to put it bluntly, is that competition is for losers. Now, when you first hear that, it just...
It flies in the face of everything.
Exactly. Everything we're taught about free market.
It does, because we've all sort of internalized this classical economic lesson that under perfect competition, every single profit, every bit of value is eventually competed away. Thiel's argument is that capitalism and competition are, well, they're actually opposites. Yeah. Competition drives value down to zero. Capitalism, by its very definition, requires the accumulation of capital.
And he has a great example of this. Think about the U.S. airline industry. They provide this invaluable service, right? They carry millions of people, generate hundreds of billions in revenue. But because they're in this environment of just brutal, near-perfect competition, their profit margins are razor thin. I think one source we saw noted that in 2012, they were making something like 37 cents per passenger trip.
37 cents. Now compare that to Google. Google generates less overall revenue than the entire airline industry combined, but it keeps its margins above 20%. Why? Because for a long time, especially since the early 2000s, they haven't faced any real competition in the search market. They created a functional monopoly, and that lets them capture the value they create.
And that's what Thiel calls moving from 1 to N, which is just, incremental improvement.
Right, doing more of the same.
To 0 to 1.